back to my channel. We are back with another high protein, high fiber meal prep. Well, more high protein. I didn't really track the fiber too much, but that is because I was cooking for my man and I. Okay, he asked me if I would meal prep for him, so you're getting a few more recipes than usual because he's a man and he eats a lot more than I do. So yeah. Oh, you guys, welcome back. It feels so good to be back. We took a couple weeks off. You know, if you guys haven't been keeping up with my vlogs, life has been really lifing lately. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your grace. But we are back with our meal prep. We are back with the food content. I have some bangers in this video today. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I have about like 4 or 5 recipes that I'm gonna be making today. First up, we're gonna be making some quick and easy breakfast sandwiches. I've featured a version of this on my channel before, but this one is catered to my man and his taste. And honestly, I just felt like it was too good not to share. So we have some breakfast sandwiches. We also have some caramelized apple overnight oats. It's a fun adult spin on apple cinnamon oatmeal. I love a Quaker oatmeal, okay? Specifically that cinnamon apple, that and the peaches and cream. Those ones are so good. But this one is a little bit more nutritious, definitely tastes better, and it's super quick and easy to prep. I'm also making a salmon Chipotle bowl with rice, a corn salsa, and a super flavorful salmon. And then also this Asian inspired sticky chicken thighs with a cucumber salad and rice. And y'all, when I tell you, chef's kiss. So yeah, that's what's on the menu for today. So if you guys are interested in any of those recipes, go ahead and stick around. All of my recipes will be down below in the description box. You guys know it's in a cute little PDF. You can download it, screenshot it. It is yours. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and jump into this meal prep. To kick off this meal prep, I am making some quick and easy breakfast sandwiches. These are actually for my man, not me, but I figured they were too good not to share. I've made versions of this on my channel before. All you're gonna need is an English muffin, your proteins of choice. I'm using eggs and Canadian bacon because that is his preference, and then also some cheese. So to start off, I'm gonna go ahead and brown my Canadian bacon on both sides. Like I said, I've made these before. You can use turkey bacon, regular bacon, pork sausage, chicken sausage, whatever you like. They're super customizable. Once I've browned all of them, I'm making 6. So I had to do this in 2 batches. I'm gonna go ahead, set them aside, and let them cool. Then you're gonna go ahead and fry your eggs. Don't be like me, okay? This does not work with the mason jar lid thingies. I thought that this was gonna work and make my eggs round like the eggs at McDonald's, but no girl. Off camera, I was fighting for my life. So don't be like me. Just fry them like you normally would, shaping them with your spatula, or if you actually have the silicone mold that you can use, that you should use for this, go ahead and use that. I'm gonna undercook my eggs a little bit so that when he goes to reheat these sandwiches in the future, the eggs are not tough and overdone. While my eggs and my Canadian bacon are cooling, I'm gonna go ahead and separate all of my English muffins, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a slice of egg, a slice of Canadian bacon, and then my cheese of choice. You probably should use a sliced cheese or slice your own cheese, but he had shredded cheese on hand, so we're just using what we got. Please make sure that everything is cool so that the cheese does not melt prematurely, because trying to remelt coagulated cheese is not the move, girl. Not at all. Pop the tops onto each of the English muffins, and then I'm going to individually wrap every sandwich in a piece of parchment paper, and then I'm going to store them in a gallon-sized freezer bag in the freezer, and these sandwiches hold up for up to 7 to 12 days in the freezer. Not that you're going to need those 7 to 12 days because, babe, you're going to be grabbing for them every single day. These are perfect for if you have work on the go, if you have kids who need a breakfast sandwich before school. Literally take them out of the freezer, pop them in the microwave for about a minute, or put them in the air fryer to toast them up, and y'all, these are the perfect portable breakfast. Next up, I am making some caramelized apple overnight oats. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 1 full Honeycrisp apple. I'm going to leave the skin on because, you know, we're trying to get this fiber, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and chop them into bite-sized pieces. Once the apple has been chopped, I'm gonna cook them in a nonstick skillet over medium-high heat in a little bit of olive oil with a little bit of salt and cinnamon. You're gonna go ahead and cook these down for about 10 to 12 minutes. If you need to add a little water to soften them up, you can, but I like to cook them like low and slow so that I can get the best caramelization on them without having to add too much sweetener. Then to aid in my cooking process and enhance the flavor, I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice, stir that together, and allow the apples to get soft. Now, once my apples are about, I would say 85 to 90% cooked, I'm gonna go ahead and add a generous drizzling of honey. You can use brown sugar, you can use white sugar, whatever you wanna do, and you're gonna go ahead and let the apples caramelize. I know that people are a little weird about heating honey on the stove, but it just works for me, and we're still alive today after we ate them. So just use your best judgment. And then off the heat, I'm gonna add in a little bit of vanilla extract so that we don't lose that flavor. Now, to assemble my overnight oats, I'm gonna go ahead and add some oats of choice. These are the ones that he had in his house, so these are the ones that we were using. And I'm gonna add a tablespoon of some chia seeds, a little bit of salt, and as much cinnamon as my heart desires, because you know we season everything with love, okay? I'm gonna use some honey. I used about 1 to 2 tablespoons. That might be a lot for some, so just again, use your best judgment, but we're just going off of our preference here. Top each of them off with a little bit of milk, and then of course a splash of vanilla, because why not? Give them all a really, really good mix, and then pop them in the fridge. I wanted the apples to cool down a little bit before putting them in the refrigerator, but it just is what it is. So I took the oatmeal out of the refrigerator. It set up quite nicely for about 35 minutes, and I'm topping each of them off with that apple mixture. And then in the morning, you can heat this up or eat it cold. Just mix it and you are good to go. Next, we are getting into some high protein burritos. These were made at my man's request. Honestly, everything in this video was made at his request, but these were a 10 out of 10. Honestly, not mad at it. I'm trying to get into more freezer friendly options instead of just running to Trader Joe's every time I want a freezer friendly item. So we'll probably be adding some of these freezer friendly recipes in the future on this channel. For these burritos, you're gonna need your meat of choice. I'm using some ground chicken, also some high protein, high fiber fiesta wraps, and of course some cheese, because what's a burrito without cheese? And then some black beans, veggies, and seasonings. In a skillet, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of avocado oil, and I'm gonna go ahead and saute my vegetables. I'm always trying to get this man to eat more vegetables, so I have to sneak them in wherever I can. I'm using a red bell pepper. If I had some onions on hand, we'd be throwing some of those in there for extra flavor and veggies. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 heaping spoonfuls of some minced garlic, because we need to flavor this ground chicken. You're gonna cook the veggies for about 2 to 3 minutes until they get slightly soft, and then we're gonna add in our taco seasonings. Now, you can totally use a store-prepared taco seasoning, but I didn't have that on hand, so I just threw together some onion powder, cayenne pepper, lots of cumin, paprika, some slap your mama seasoning, and some garlic powder. And we're gonna toast these together for the next 2 minutes until the seasonings are nice and fragrant. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in our ground chicken, and y'all already know how to cook this chicken, so I'm not even gonna get into that. Saute it until it's nicely crumbled together, and then we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water. I added about a half a cup of water. I like the meat to go ahead and simmer in the water to get nice and tender and create a nice sauce. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of some taco sauce or salsa. You can use either, but I felt like this tied our flavor profile all together and added more to the sauce. Saute for another 2 minutes until everything is nicely combined, and then go ahead and remove the meat mixture from the heat and allow it to cool. Once the meat mixture has cooled, I'm gonna go ahead and spoon 2 to 3 heaping spoonfuls of the meat mixture onto our tortilla wrap. I'm gonna top it with about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of black beans and then a generous sprinkling of some cheese. Then wrap them up into a burrito. Literally, it's that simple. You're gonna do this until all of your meat mixture runs out. I had the perfect amount of meat because this absolutely made 6 and I had 6 tortillas, so that was a win. Once you've rolled all of the burritos, go ahead and individually wrap them in some parchment paper and store them in a gallon-sized freezer bag. These will also hold up in your freezer for about 2 weeks, which is super nice. All you have to do to eat them is microwave them for about 1.5 minutes, then throw it into a saute pan to crisp the outside, or you could throw it in the air fryer and boom, you have the perfect on-the-go snack, dinner, or lunch. Next, we're making this Chipotle salmon bowl, and this honestly changed the game for me. It's so quick and easy to make. I'll probably be making this once a week for the foreseeable future. Okay, that's how good it was. You can use any meat of choice. We went with salmon, so I'm gonna go ahead and season with a little bit of Slap Your Mama seasoning, some paprika, a little bit of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and a light drizzle of some avocado oil. You're gonna go ahead and use your hands, or if not, if you're weird about using your hands, spread it some way. Spread the seasonings out evenly on both sides of the salmon and allow the salmon to marinate for about 15 minutes at room temperature before cooking. Now in a cast iron skillet, I'm gonna go ahead and sear the salmon skin side down for about 4 minutes to make sure that my salmon skin is nice and crispy, okay? Do not skip this step. While the salmon is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the corn salsa. So I'm gonna start by chopping up a half of a red onion, keeping everything fairly small and diced. You know, we wanna keep everything very uniform and easy to eat. I'm also gonna follow up with about half of a jalapeno, leaving the seeds and the ribs on the inside because we in this house like spice, okay? About a half a cup of fresh cilantro, and then I'm also going to use the Trader Joe's fire roasted corn as our base. I just heated it in the microwave for about 1 minute to defrost and allowed it to cool. In a large bowl, you're gonna go ahead and combine your corn, some red bell peppers, some black beans, the red onion, cilantro, and jalapeno. I'm gonna season with some salt, pepper, cayenne, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, and a nice rounded spoonful of some garlic. And then to tie it all together, I'm gonna drizzle it with a good squeeze of some lime juice and mix it all together. And this salad, or salsa if you will, is so refreshing. I could eat it by itself or on chips or in a bowl. It's just very versatile. I just know that it's good. I decided to serve the salmon and salsa over a bed of cilantro lime brown rice, so I'm just taking some steamed rice, adding a little bit of lime zest, some lime juice, and the chopped cilantro from before, a little bit of salt, and giving that a good mix, being sure to fluff the rice and not mix it so that it becomes overly mushy. Now this part is totally optional, but I'm just gonna make a little pan sauce because I felt like the salmon needed a little sauce and it left behind some really good drippings in the pan. So in that same skillet that I cooked the salmon in, I'm gonna add some minced garlic, paprika, chili flakes, cumin, lime juice, and a drizzle of some honey, and giving that a really good mix and allowing it to cook on medium heat for about 2 minutes and then removing it from the heat to cool down. Now, you guys know that my favorite part of any meal prep is the assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down my bed of rice, followed by the salsa, and then topping everything off with the salmon and drizzling that salmon with the pan sauce. I just felt like the salmon was just, kind of plain without it, but honestly didn't need it because that salsa, 10 out of 10, girl. Sprinkle each bowl with some cilantro as a nice garnish, and then add a nice lime wedge. And y'all, this meal is a 10 out of 10. Like I said, you'll probably be seeing this again on this channel because it's that good. Lastly, we are making some sweet and sticky glazed chicken thighs with some rice and an Asian-inspired cucumber salad that are sure to spice up your meal repertoire. I'm going to go ahead and season a pack of some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can season how you want, but the seasonings that I used are some onion powder, garlic powder, 21 seasoning salute, a little bit of black pepper, some cayenne, paprika, a couple dashes of sesame oil, and then a little bit of the chili from the chili crunch oil. Mix your seasonings really well and make sure that every inch of those chicken thighs are coated in the seasoning evenly. Now I'm going to pop these chicken thighs in an air fryer. Feel free to sear them over the stove. I was just overcooking at this point, so I threw them in the air fryer and they were still so good. That's the one thing that I love about chicken thighs is that you can cook them forever and they're still going to be moist, tender, and juicy. Now while the chicken thighs are in the air fryer, I'm going to go ahead and start making our cucumber salad. So of course you're going to need some cucumbers. I'm using some mini cucumbers and also using some green onions, and I'm going to slice them both pretty thinly. I'm going to set the cucumbers aside and go ahead and start making the marinade or the dressing for the cucumbers. You're going to need a little bit of sriracha, some fresh ginger or ginger paste, a couple tablespoons of some soy sauce, a generous sprinkling of red chili flakes, a couple dashes of some sesame oil, about a tablespoon of some minced garlic, and a few dashes of some rice wine vinegar. Go ahead and mix it well and taste for seasonings. I love this dressing because I feel like it's salty and tangy but super flavorful. Once it's mixed really well, go ahead and pour it over your sliced cucumbers, give it a good mix, and allow it to marinate in the refrigerator. Now I said we were making some sticky glazed chicken thighs, so let's go ahead and make this sticky glaze for the chicken thighs. So I'm going to go ahead into a bowl, add 100% maple syrup, some lower sodium soy sauce, a generous spoonful of minced garlic, a couple of tablespoons of rice vinegar, a little bit of chili oil, some ginger paste, and sriracha, and give it all a good mix together. We're actually going to cook the sauce down so that it gets nice and thick, so if it looks a little runny right now, don't worry, we'll remedy that in a second. In a cast iron skillet, I'm going to go ahead and add a little pat of butter, and I'm going to add the sauce in and let it simmer for about 5 to 6 minutes.
supposed to add a cornstarch slurry to this, but I didn't have cornstarch on hand, so I used 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of water as my thickening agent, but definitely use the cornstarch slurry. Just use a ratio of 1:1. 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix it together and add it to the sauce and watch it thicken up. It literally works so fast. When the chicken thighs were done cooking in the air fryer, I added them to the sauce and allowed them to simmer for about 6 to 8 minutes just to make sure that all the flavors were coming together. Now you already know what time it is because we love to assemble, so I'm going to go ahead and use some brown rice as my base, topping it off with our chicken thighs and making sure to spoon some of that sauce because it was so good to waste. I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of leftover green onion, then spoon in that cucumber salad, garnish with a little bit of sesame seeds, and you guys, I don't even have to say anything else. You see the material for yourself.
Okay, you guys, that is going to conclude this week's meal prep. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know what your favorite recipe on today's episode was. And also, let me know a recipe that you would like me to feature on my channel because I'm getting bored with recipes. Being honest, I'm getting bored in the kitchen and I feel like I need a challenge. So somebody challenge me and give me some recipes that I can try in my next video. Y'all, this was a good meal prep today. I really truly hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go leave you guys off here because now it's your turn to go meal prep. So I love you. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also be sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time your girl drops a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you in my next.